Today we're going to continue with reading Magic Treehouse Day of the Dragon King that we started yesterday. We have already read Chapter 1, so today we're going to focus on Chapter 2. First, let's look at our word study words for this week. Remember, this week is the AW, AU, and AL pattern. And at the bottom we have our challenge words, so don't forget about those. We are going to use the magic wand to point and spell the words. So let me show you an example. The wand is already pointing to the word saw, so we'll use that as the example. The word is saw, and as I point to each letter, we're going to say the letter out loud. So we'll say S-A-W, saw. And we'll do that with each of the words on the board. But I'm going to need some volunteers to help me out with this. Awesome. Let's move on to our vocabulary. We know that in our story the kids are searching for an ancient legend, and our vocabulary word for today is actually the word legend. And legend is a noun, a person, place, thing, idea, or animal. That means a traditional story that people tell, but it may not be true. So we have to be careful with that. The word legend is a noun, but if we add a suffix to the end of that word, we can actually create an adjective, which is a descriptive word, legendary. So the word legendary is an adjective that means famous and based on legends. And remember, legends is a traditional story that may or may not be true, and it is a noun. You're going to focus on what Annie and Jack learn that helps them move forward in their adventure as you start reading Chapter 2. So something's going to happen that makes it more difficult for them to continue with their adventure, but then you're going to learn that something actually does help them, and it makes it a little bit easier. So we have two different things going on today, and we are going to actually be introduced to a new character. So we're going to stop for a moment, and I'm going to make a prediction, which is kind of like an inference. And remember, inferring, if you forgot, I have a chart down here so we can take a look. And inferring means to figure something out that wasn't explained in the story by using clues from the story and things that we already know. So I'm going to take both of those ideas and kind of come up with a prediction or a guess of what I think is going to happen. So I do know that Jack and Annie need to find the legend. And they're saying that it's in the Imperial Library, but I also know that the Dragon King is dangerous. So I'm predicting, or I am inferring, that the Dragon King is going to make it difficult for them to find the legend. I do not think he's going to make it easy for them. Alright, so as you continue reading with your partner, you're going to think about what makes this book a fantasy. Why couldn't it be real? What's going on in the story that makes it very unrealistic? I want you to use some evidence about why you know the author created it from her imagination. So that's going to be during your reading. Now let's talk about some questions that I have for you. Why did her clothes change? When I say that, I mean Annie. So why are Annie's clothes changing in the story at the beginning of the chapter? What do you remember about Pompeii, and why does Jack bring it up? Can you make a connection between the Chinese emperor and an Egyptian pharaoh? You are going to turn and talk to your partner about these three questions. So go ahead and turn and talk. Great job! Now we're moving on to our story map. We're going to fill in the characters, setting, problem, plan to help fix that problem, and resolution of our story map. I know that you guys have your papers where you have some of this information already filled in. So if you have that, awesome. And if not, we're going to go ahead and fill in those missing spaces. Today for your written response, you're going to write 2 sentences using 2 of your word study words in each. And you are also going to reread about how Jack and Annie use the China book that they have brought. Think about why they need it, and use what you know to predict how Jack and Annie will be using the book in the rest of their adventure. And I'd like you to start your sentence by saying, I know that, and then fill in the blank. So I predict that, and then you're going to fill in that blank. Okay, so this is going to be during our center time. So center 1 is going to be writing 2 sentences. Center 2 will be rereading and predicting. And center 3 will be read to self as usual. Let's go ahead and get started.